Rajasthan is home to the crumbling stone ruins of Bhangarh Fort. During the day, the site is a significant historical landmark, but the atmosphere shifts the moment the sun begins to set. This local fear is backed by a legal mandate. The Archaeological Survey of India forbids anyone from remaining inside the fort or even entering the surrounding area after sunset. In 2004, 5 college students from Delhi, Aman, Rishi, Kavya, Neeraj, and Pooja, decided to cross that line. They arrived with handheld cameras, planning to spend the night filming a documentary to debunk the legends. 2 days later, a search team found their cameras scattered throughout the ruins. The students were gone. All that remains is the unreleased footage they recorded, which captures a series of events that defy rational explanation. Their investigation began at Jaipur Junction. They boarded a late-night route locally known as the Last Train, a service that few people use and even fewer discuss. The first few hours of footage show a standard Indian rail journey. Passengers are sleeping in the berths, and vendors are moving through the coaches, which lulled the group into a sense of security. The noise and bustling energy of the station were behind them. They were moving deeper into an isolated environment in the middle of the night. The first break in the routine occurs at midnight. The train comes to a sudden, unexplained halt on a stretch of tracks with no visible stations or lights in any direction. The cameras catch an old, barefoot woman walking through the aisle with her head lowered. Her presence is ignored by everyone else on the train. Other passengers don't wake up from their seats, and the ticket staff walk right past her without a word. She stops beside Kavya's seat and whispers, "Do not go inside after sunset." When the camera pans away for a few seconds and then returns to the aisle, she is gone. A person cannot simply vanish from a moving train without a sound. Her disappearance suggests the group had already moved into a space where the usual laws of physical reality were beginning to break down. The train reached the Bhangarh station at 2:13 a.m. The platform was desolate, with no staff or announcements, lit only by a single flickering bulb. The audio recording reveals something unusual: absolute silence. In the middle of the night in Rajasthan, there is no sound of insects, no wind, and no distant animal calls. While Neeraj makes a joke about the atmosphere, the camera captures a shadow moving across the platform. It is impossibly tall and thin, moving with a fluid motion that doesn't appear human. In biology, a total drop in ambient noise is often a sign of a predator. When local wildlife detects a nearby threat, they go silent to avoid being noticed. The students had stepped off the train and directly into a hunting ground. They entered the ancient stone corridors of the fort just after 3 a.m. Their initial excitement quickly shifted into a state of intense paranoia. Kavya claims she is being followed. Rishi hears whispering from empty rooms, and Pooja begins to weep uncontrollably, unable to explain why she feels so much dread. Their flashlights eventually hit a figure watching them from the top of a fort wall. It remains motionless until the light touches it. Then it disappears instantly. This visualization shows the camera's audio track at 3:47 a.m. The steady sound of footsteps is suddenly interrupted by massive digital spikes. By isolating a single frequency band, investigators found a clear male voice whispering, "You are warned not to enter." The photo frames are frantic. There are heavy footsteps from an empty corridor and a scream. The camera turns sharply to reveal a pale, smiling face with black eyes inches from the lens before the recording cuts out. By 3:47 a.m., the group had pushed past the limits of observation and triggered a physical, hostile response. The police search 2 days later was extensive. They recovered the cameras and personal belongings scattered throughout the ruins, but they found no human remains and no signs of a struggle. A final, intact video file shows a man hiding alone in a dark room. He is breathing heavily and staring at the door. Just before the door creaks open behind him, he whispers, "They aren't ghosts. They look human during the day." A man's final words suggest that the threat at Bhangarh is a physical, territorial entity. It appears capable of mimicking humanity to hide in plain sight. The government's official response was quiet but absolute. In 2007, railway records show the night route from Jaipur was permanently shut down. Locals still report sightings of shadow figures near the dead tracks, and whispers coming from empty, rusted train coaches that haven't moved in years. These sightings suggest the restricted zones of Bhangarh are not ruins. They are actively occupied territories where humans are no longer permitted after dark.